right, welcome back to Aliens with the Girls. I'm your host, Sidney.
I'm your co-host, Julia.
And I'm your co-host, Michael.
And we're going to get into some frickin' alien stuff. Yeah. But before we do, it's been a while since we've seen you.
I know.
How was your trip?
FL.
It was so great. Some sunshine, some warmth. Great time with friends. And I got to spend some time with my nephew.
What?
Who is just...
That was the little bean you sent us.
Yes, who's almost, at this point, 3 months old. So he's just a little baby. And
I almost
he's
can't
so
hold
sweet.
a baby till it's like 4 months old because it's scary.
I know. They are definitely delicate, but it was great.
Can we talk about how Julia was feeding the baby in the photo she took?
It was actually so strange.
No, it was literally like...
And you were like, Mom.
That's not Julia's kid. That's not hers.
Surprise!
You bring a baby to the next record.
No, I was joking with my sister, and I was like, oh, I should post a picture with your baby and be like, oh, so afraid that my body's not going to be the same after having a kid. And then, like, post, like, another slide and be like, Auntie, get your fucking ass in the gym or something. Like, I saw a TikTok that was similar to that, and it was so funny. And I just feel like now I think of my nephew as my child.
That's so cute, though.
Which is great.
I love that.
He's
That's so
so
fun to have a
cute.
little kid in the family.
Yeah.
I have a goddaughter, so that's like my closest.
Yeah.
Shout out Len, love you. And Marley, love you too.
It's
That's her
so
little
nice.
sister.
And it's great because when I'm like, whoa, I need to take a step back, just give him back to my sister. It's
Poopy
great.
diapers.
You're like, bye.
Yeah, it's the
Not for
literal
me.
best arrangement, but so fun. Glad to be back. I missed you too.
Well, I love that. Welcome back. I think I said I did hate you for a little bit while you were down there, but Chicago really hasn't been that bad.
Having a warm spell here.
We had that really shit week.
Yeah.
Where I didn't go into the office because it was too cold.
Yeah,
I'm not
same.
gonna commute like that. Are you kidding me? But yeah, it wasn't that bad, and it's getting better. But let's not talk about the weather. That's for our
Please.
weather podcast. Dropping soon, probably in 4 years, because while I was doing research for this podcast, I found notes that I had started in literally July of 2021.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
wild.
2021 was a really creative year for you. I
Well-
mean, you were just spouting ideas out.
We'll get into that in a second. But I told Julia I also bought a domain during that time called Aliens Man.
Aliens Man?
Yes. Well, you have to pronounce it like Aliens Man.
Aliensman?
Like that was Aliensman. Yes, that was it.
Aliensman.
Aliensman. And I bet I'm actually still paying for that domain somehow. I should check that.
It's an investment.
Anyways.
It's always there when you need it.
Anyways,
you
so
never know.
this is obviously our second recording. Second time doing our little podcast, third record, but second time really doing it. So we listened back. We haven't posted yet. We're actually posting starting this Sunday, which is very exciting.
Stay tuned.
But I have showed you guys some clips. We've gone through the whole episode. What's your feedback? Because like I have some that's like low-key changing my life. I'm a mouth breather.
Heavy breather.
No, gaping mouth breather. Like mouth
Gaping.
open as you're talking. I'm just like breathing normally. Like I think it's normal, but I've been trying to like breathe through my nose, and I get like out of breath, and I don't know if it's my nose or my lungs. What's happening?
Oh, baby.
So
That's amazing.
that's my first piece of feedback.
I feel like this is kind of a nice one. I feel like I just like smile a lot.
Oh,
And
you're
I'm always
nice
just
to
like-
yourself. That's great.
I'm a
do.
mouth
Yeah, that's the
breather.
one.
I smile a lot.
So I was like, well, it's kind of like sweet.
We practice self-love on this podcast.
Yeah,
just
more and
not
more.
in front of the camera for me.
Oh,
Just in front of the mirror.
We
Hey.
do. We
also a
do.
different podcast. Was so sorry.
Anyways. Julia, feedback?
Honestly, I didn't realize how much of a bitch I sound like sometimes.
Work,
Like I feel
baby.
like I don't know if it's my tone of voice, but like damn,
Shit.
she sounds like a bitch.
No, but I think you just have a very
I
dry
didn't wanna
delivery,
say
which
that,
is like
Julia,
the
but
best.
that's actually no.
Now that you actually
Sounds
bring it
like
up,
a
she had it on
bitch. Is a
bullet
bitch.
free.
Looks like a bitch.
Yeah, I brought this up because I
Embodies
actually have
one.
notes for you guys. So I wanted to get
Oh my
no,
God.
I'm kidding.
Let's do
I absolutely do
Okay,
that.
this is where I end my contract.
Yeah. Okay. You signed it.
Cut the
sorry.
cameras. Cut the cameras.
I do have a note from my mom. because
Oh.
they were over here, and I'm like, well, I'll get the podcast stuff out because they're excited about it. It's kind of
Yeah.
cute. So I put it up, and she's like, you should get a teleprompter. So you're not looking
Okay, yeah,
down
let me
so
just-
much. And I'm just like, whose budget?
Yeah,
I'm
like
working with
just
here?
drop
The
$3,000.
teleprompter, like, where?
It's like this big on like her.
She's like, Sid, look at the camera more. Okay.
You like keep it
Hi,
right
Mom.
next to your walking pad, like when it's not podcast
Yes,
time.
this is my apartment. Like, also, like, I don't
This is
have
not
that much
MSNBC
space here.
diva.
No. Maybe ABC would be cool.
This
'cause
is
we
a
could-
live-in studio, babes.
We could try and go to ABC's. It's right next to the office.
Oh my god, let's do it.
Hey, excuse me. I have like a really low budget, like just started.
Hi, we have something we need to
podcast.
record in here.
It's about aliens. Can you work us in,
you
please? Squeeze us?
get the fuck
Also,
out?
this color scheme just won't work for me. It's pink. It's pink. It's pink.
Everywhere. They're like, please get out.
Please
Police.
Security. Security.
Security.
leave. Do not come to my town.
I'm dead. I'm dead. Okay. Anyways, well, I love those notes. It sounds like we had some good notes. Anything else, Julia?
Honestly, that's it for now. I think just still getting used to the sound of my own voice.
Yeah.
is
It takes
hard.
a minute, honestly.
But there's always going to be something I think that we each find maybe lacking in ourselves in each one of these episodes.
I hope we make each other
But
stronger.
I think this is a way for us to
What
really
is this fucking
explore
Hallmark?
Hold my hand.
confidence and just be genuine. Sorry, you know my hands sweat.
Oh,
I be
Jesus.
sweaty as fuck.
I regret that.
I bet I would too.
Just
I
immediate
was
moist.
like unsure of whether I should do it, but I didn't want to leave you hanging.
I
But I
actually so
knew that the
appreciate that.
consequence, like the outcome, was going to be arguably worse for you if
You
I
know
did
what?
put my hand in your hand. as
You-
and now
opposed
you're
to
looking
you.
out, and that's just a good friend.
That's just Sarah, just being real.
I was gonna say now I feel like a bitch because you reached out to
Yeah,
me in my
that
time
was-
of need. I could have looked like a dumb
Traitors.
dumb.
I'm full.
One more, just a little me.
I'm the one that has some space.
I'll just scooch in right on your notes, just right here. What's this? Is this important?
Don't mind
Let me
me.
sit on this. That's her. She's
Like,
always getting on my lap. Oh,
Diva.
look at her. Move the cord so she can get in there.
I'm moving the cord. No, just
So
go
she
back.
can get in there.
Go
Oh,
for a
she
second.
loves
Yeah,
you.
you
Okay,
got
just
it.
don't engage. Don't no eye
I'm not
contact.
engaging.
I don't want to be too graphic here, but Pickle is in heat for the last time. She's getting fixed next week. Actually, by the
inconveniently
time
right
this
by my
podcast
dick.
comes out, she will have been fixed.
Just
but-
pick a spot, Mary.
No, we'll take a second. Anyways, while she's doing that, guys,
She's
let's
nesting.
freaking get into
Let's get
this
into it.
week's
Let's
topic.
do it. Kick it off for us, Sid.
All right, let me put this down because we're changing notebooks just slightly
Oh, we're getting
here.
serious.
All right.
It's the clipboard now.
Ooh, my clippy.
Miss Clipboard.
Miss Clipboard.
Miss Clipboard.
Excuse me. Last week we meant to have a 30-minute episode. We yapped. We had a 50-minute episode. This week, last week I only had 4 pages of notes. This week I have 6. But I do think the font's bigger.
Like, are we talking
Font's
like 15 versus
bigger.
11 or like
No.
26
are we
versus
talking
12?
different font size?
No,
margins?
Is it Georgia font? Is it sans serif?
So I think same size,
Comic
12
Sans.
always. If you're not using 12, who are you?
I'm
I feel
using
like 12's
11.
pretty standard.
It's like
Honestly,
kind
I
of
like
like,
11.
Okay, that's
sophisticated.
actually
I like
fine.
11.
Maybe last one was 11, this one's 12, and I think it's in a different font.
Work. She's like, it's in a different language. I wrote it in Spanish.
I printed it in those sans serif, like doodly bops. that you hear every-
Weddings.
the widgets or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I almost
Okay,
touched
so
her.
cute. She's gonna strangle herself with those cords. So Sid,
What are you going to
sorry. Yes. Okay.
tell us about aliens today?
Yes.
You know what? Before I get into that, I do have to say, and I'm being genuine with this. This episode's gonna come with a warning. If you can hear the sirens outside.
Yeah, the siren is very foreshadow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but honestly, because today we're gonna get into what started the most recent alien, UFO, or UAP craze. And for the sake of this episode, I know we changed the term to UAP. We're a fun podcast, and UFO is so much more
So much
So
more
much
fun.
cuter.
It's more
like
what I
kind of-
want.
Catchier.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It sticks in
So
your brain.
what is? I can't even.
Don't even
UAP.
remember what you just
UAP?
said.
Like that
Yeah,
sounds
the
like
other
a
name was.
disease.
Cool. UFOs. So, anyways,
Irrelevant.
to start that sentence over because we got distracted. Today we're gonna get into the most, what started the most recent UFO craze in the last, like, say, 4 years. So we're hitting on the declassified documents that dropped in June 2021, which is really what got me interested in aliens. I really wasn't before, and then I saw this, and I was just like, why isn't everybody talking about this? Like, I went on like my Instagram or my TikTok, and just the same stuff I'm always saying. And like, again, I follow like E-News and like Bravo and like different influencers, but like, why weren't they interested in this? Like, did
Right.
you guys hear about this?
The
The
D files.
Oh my god, you have no idea how much my mom's gonna be thrilled to hear the hamster dams interluded in here.
Stop. Were you also a kid that got that like stupid not like an interactive card, but like when you opened it, it was
No,
always thicker,
dude.
and it was like there was like a pop out graphic like dancing or
I think so.
like
I
something
think I
or
know what you're
other, but
talking
it was
about.
always a hamster song.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I'm like older than you.
Or that
I came
frog
out. I was
song.
around when
Yeah.
the hamster song came out, and we would like bop that shit.
Yeah, it hit.
Yeah, it hit. It really did for the time.
a
It was
slap.
like, whew, what are they doing over there in that hamster factory? You know. Anyways,
Absolutely.
back to the declassified documents. Did you hear about them at all?
No, I didn't.
I did not.
Okay. Well, don't worry, because
Going
I'm
in this
here. And
all
again,
new.
that kind of goes into like why I wanted to do this podcast, because there's so much stuff that's coming out, and the girls aren't talking about it.
And we
they need
deserve
to
to
be.
know.
So let's talk about it, guys. Let's freaking talk about it. Anyways, so basically, we're gonna find out what the hell the government knows about aliens and if they're here. And spoiler, they're freaking here. Yeah. Okay, so again, first, let's go back to June of 2021. Lovely time. Height of fucking COVID. Julia, Michael, what were you guys doing?
July of 2021.
July of 2021.
Ooh, I think it was in Fire Island.
Slay, no more questions.
Shut up. You're just telling about us about this now. This didn't come up immediately when I first met you.
I'm sure it's been back since.
There's just so I have so many questions.
Do you want to know about Fire Island?
No, I do. Wait, are we talking about the fire festival?
No.
Oh,
That didn't happen on Fire Island.
I'm absolutely annihilated right now. Oh
I
my
mean, would you
God.
not think that makes sense? Okay, anyway.
It does.
Sorry for the
I definitely
interruption.
see the
It's just like,
connection.
I'm like, why is she so intrigued by Fire Island? Which,
Clearly,
like,
But
fun,
that would
love
be a great
stories.
story if I
Yeah.
went to Fire Festival. That would actually
would've
be
been-
something that I
Because
bring
I
out
can
all
low-key
the
see
time.
you-
That would be a whole podcast
You bitch.
episode.
Yeah, same.
Well, maybe he'll go this time around.
It is coming back,
It's coming back.
and I will not be there.
All right. Well, maybe Julia will. Anyways,
Gotta
okay.
do
What
it.
were you? What were you doing? Oh, you were at Fire Island.
Fire Island. I was
What were you
basically like
doing?
on a like
That's
gay.
like in New York.
It's like a gay island off of New York.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
during the pandemic. So.
I just graduated from college.
Oh, word.
Love. Oh,
Our
so
young
we were
little
working
queen.
together.
Yeah, we were working together at that point. That's
That's
when
so
I had
fun.
probably met you.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the month earlier, because I started working a week after I graduated.
That's wild.
girl.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
Love that.
But wasn't doing much.
Yeah.
Join the corporate world.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, no,
Big
I love
moment.
corporate. I love my job. I genuinely do, actually. But anyways, I was here, not in this apartment. I've lived in this unit for like 8 years, but I lived next door, so I was in the one bedroom, not this one, not two bedroom, which would have been so nice. Anyways, I felt like I was going stir crazy, so obviously I was looking at alien documents,
As one does when
as one does.
We all have our different coping mechanisms.
Exactly.
drag her.
So anyways, while we were all doing that, as a part of the COVID relief bill in 2021, Congress actually passed an Intelligence Authorization Act,
Wow.
which both the Director of National Intelligence and the Department of Defense, DOD, who we love, they were ordered to produce a report on all the freaking UFO sightings that had been reported on recently. Because I don't know, and again, if you guys were a little bit more maybe mentally healthy at that time, you might
No.
not know. But leading up to this document being released, there had been several like military I'll say UAP here, a military UAP sightings that had been like videos that had been leaked, and this was around the 2017 to 2020 time frame. The most popular would have been the movie or the video Tic Tac. There's one called Gimbal, a video called Go Fast, and these showed UFOs, UAPs flying at like exorbitant speeds, something that we don't have the technology to be able to like replicate. So that's why these videos got like leaked, and it was through like the military. So that's kind of when people started to be like, wait, what? The military's leaking this? What's happening?
Like, why were they keeping it from us in the first place?
Exactly. So I'll try and find some of these like original videos and like I'll post them on like our TikTok or something, which, go follow our social media, by the way.
Pluggity plug.
TikTok,
Shameless
Instagram,
self promo.
Shame.
and we're on YouTube if you want to watch this.
Period.
shit.
And probably YouTube Shorts, too.
Anyways.
Find us
Maybe.
everywhere.
Why not? All right.
Maybe
back
even
to the
your
story.
home.
Okay. So these videos, again, they actually got reported on in 2017 by the New York Times. And Luis Elizondo, I hope I say his name right. I listened to a podcast that like taught me how. I think it's Elizondo.
Lasagna.
Elizondo. We'll figure that out. I hope I say it right. If not, I'll correct myself next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
But anyways, he was the main focus along with these like sightings of this New York Times 2017 article, and he's actually going to be a main theme in our story a little bit later on. So I'm going to get to him in a minute. Let's get back to what these declassified documents actually said. So basically, the Director of National Intelligence released a 9-page document June 25th, 2021, that covered 144 UFO cases that were reported between 2004 and 2021. And out of those 144 cases, guess how many of them they were able to, like, solve? One.
One.
One. And it was a
Holy
balloon.
shit.
It was a deflated balloon
No.
from little Stevie's birthday
Stuff.
party.
Stevie.
We love
Rip.
him.
Hey, his,
Wait,
first,
birthday
his
party.
first heartbreak.
Oh my god, not his funeral.
Everyone always remembers their first
Kill?
Work. Death.
heartbreak.
Bye, Stevie. Back to the story. Anyways, these reports, that were, again, between 2004 and 2021, most of them were from, like, the past 2 years. So from 2021, previous 2 years. Although they did start in 2004. And most of them were also from military personnel. So that's where these sightings are coming from.
Got it.
And out of these, we'll say 143 cases, because one was Stevie's balloon.
So, sorry, I have just a clarifying question.
of course.
So, these reports, all 144 of them, have been cataloged since 2004 until...
Investigated.
Okay.
Yeah, by the government.
Okay.
Yeah. And they can't figure out what they are, except for
The balloon.
Stevie's balloon.
And they were all flying super fast speeds. Right?
Not all of them. Let's get into that. So out of these 143 cases, we'll say again, 21 reports covering 18 instances, the UFOs appeared to demonstrate what I said before, advanced technology that has never been seen before. So no technology that like any government has access to that we know of.
So wild.
Wild. So that's basically what these declassified documents release. And there is some redacted stuff, of course, but I'll digress. So, since the June 21 declassified documents and growing number of sightings being reported on, since like everybody obviously has a phone these days and is recording stuff. Sorry, Grandma. There's not only growing popularity from the general public, mainly me, but there's also been a really big congressional push to get more information and more transparency about what the government actually knows about UFOs, UAPs. So, in response to these documents being released, there have been 3 congressional hearings that we're going to get into that not only disclose that aliens exist, but that they're, like, here.
So they're like confirming it.
Yeah. So, like, I'll ask now. Again, I had a warning at the top, but are you sure you guys want to get into this?
Oh,
Well,
I'm
100%. I get off on it.
Need it.
Consent was given.
I'm
Let's get
thirsty.
into it. Okay, so the first hearing, which was actually the first public, emphasis public, congressional hearing on UFOs in the last 50 years, it again really focused on what we just talked about, the 21 declassified documents. So I'm really not going to get too much into that. I don't want to repeat myself too much.
Period.
So let's get into hearing number 2. So this one happened July 26, 2023. And again, not too long ago. And it was done by the House Oversight Committee, which I believe is going to be the committee that's really going to take charge on these hearings to come. Because, yes, there have already been 3, but there are going to be more.
Yeah, and they're at least they know the process by now.
No, exactly. So they're the ones who are really taking charge on it. And they got together and they heard testimony from David Gersh, who is a former U.S. intelligence officer who claims that the U.S. government has possession of something so mind-bending that I'm not even going to tell you right now.
Oh my God,
we
you
have
were
to
just
wait?
edging us
I
over
am
here,
just
Diva. Come on.
For myself
The
for just
anticipation
a
is
second.
killing me.
But I'll give you a little something. So he also released that there is a program within our government agencies that is a secret UFO retrieval program.
Work.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
there's a designated group that will go and retrieve UFOs or UAPs.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
that's kind of
cool.
wild. That's some like Men in Black shit right
Yeah, I was
there.
gonna say, that's
oh my God,
really
it literally
cool.
is though.
No, it literally
Wait.
is.
Wow, I mean, that's just
Based
real
off
life.
true stuff. I'm gonna stop singing, but anyways, can't stop, won't stop. Ooh, didn't like that. Didn't like that.
What was that?
Anyways, now let's get in as the siren subsides. Let's get into the most recent hearing, and this is where it really gets nuts,
Oh my
at least in my
God.
opinion. So
I'm shaking in my boots.
Shaking in the boots.
shake a little, steady, and now let's go. So
Period.
we're gonna go back to November 13th, 2004. No, we're actually not going to go back to that specific date, although I'm sure it's nice.
For sure.
We're going to come a little bit closer in time. We're going to go back to November 13th, 2024. A date that might sound familiar to some of our week 1 listeners.
New Jersey.
Maybe to Michael and Julia,
New Jersey.
because that's when the New Jersey drone sightings
Well,
started.
when the government released
Yes, thank you for
released
that
the
clarification.
POV of it.
Well, no. That's when, they released their statement on it on December 14th.
Oh, so it happened November.
That was,
Got you,
they had
14th.
been happening up till then. But anyways, yeah, it was a big,
For sure.
there was a pivotal moment with the New Jersey drone sightings is really what we're getting at there. Again, this podcast is more conversational and fun, less fact-focused.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you're looking for, I actually have a recommendation later, so stick with us, I guess. If you can bear it.
If you can
Anyways,
stomach
you can
us.
stomach us for 5 more minutes. Okay. Anyway, so is this a coincidence? I don't know, and we aren't going to get into it. So. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting. When I saw it, I was like, oh, I know that date.
I'm so dead.
I'm
the edging
sorry.
over here
I'm
is
sorry,
just
I'm
ridiculous.
sorry. We're turned on in more ways than one.
Say it was
Sorry.
pickle.
Sorry, Dad. Anyways, so this 3rd congressional hearing took place in Washington, D.C., again, led by the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. And they called to witness a number of special guests who, in my opinion, are pretty reputable. I didn't do much more background search on them other than read their titles.
Mm-hmm.
But my sources did. So let's give a quick shout out to my sources. Shout out the UAP podcast, which is UAP Unidentified Alien Podcast, hosted by Steven Diner. Great podcast. Honestly, 10 out of 10 listen. Really informative. And I say that because, do you hear me breathing? I feel such like a heavy breather right now because I was nose breathing earlier.
She called
Anyways.
herself a mouth breather earlier.
I am. Anyways, shout out to him. I listened to the podcast like 3 times through, I think, because there was just such good information, and it takes me about 3 times to absorb any kind of information. Shout out. Episode 94 is where he discussed the hearing in detail that we're going to get into, and he gave, again, a really great overview. Also, shout out, congress.gov. Applause. A lot of good information there, too. We love a good government website. And then I didn't use them this week, but shout out Wikipedia. Pay them.
Pay them.
Okay, so the first witness called to stand during this 3rd congressional hearing was a man named Michael Gold. He was a former NASA associate administrator of space policy and partnership.
Damn, what a title.
What a title. Had
What
to
a
practice that one.
title.
And he was also a member of NASA's UAP Independent Study Team.
Gave me a chub.
That's all we'll say there. We also have a few others. We have Tim, again, a name I should have pronounced. I think it's Gallaudet, we'll say. Yeah, a PhD, a rear admiral in the U.S. Navy, chief executive officer of a Ocean Consulting LLC, Slay.
What is it with rich people in the
Ocean
You know
Consulting.
what? Start an LLC, go into the ocean. We'll talk about that later, actually. And let's see. Then we have Luis Elizondo. And again, we talked about him a little bit earlier. And I really hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly because he is going to be a main character for us.
Okay.
He's a former DOD official. DOD, again, the Department of Defense. He's an author, and again, a good pal who I mentioned before, who was interviewed in the 2017 New York Times UAP reports.
Wow.
So, a little extra history on, we'll call him Lou. I think that's his preferred nickname.
Like it.
And
like,
he's a pal of
Lou
ours.
is cute.
Yeah.
Seems comfy.
Because again, we're going to
Wait, do we like him?
Yeah,
Okay.
we do. We really do. We'll get into it because we're going to give him a main character moment here. So, Lou, he's the son of a Cuban immigrant. Shout out Uncle Manny. He's also the son of a Cuban immigrant. and
Love. Come on, Unky.
great uncle of mine.
Oh.
He is enlisted, or he did enlist in the Army in 1995. And I was but a wee child. Julia wasn't even thought of.
Work. That's
wasn't,
tough.
Wasn't even a cell.
Nope. And Michael was
I
a
was
wee child as well.
3.
We'll say a wee child.
A wee child.
A wee child.
A wee lad.
Anyways,
lad.
in the Army, he was assigned to the military intelligence.
Okay.
In 1998, he was recruited as a civilian intelligence officer into a top secret U.S. intelligence program with the DoD. There, he rose to senior intelligence officer. We love a man who climbs in a rank. He did tours in Afghanistan, in the Middle East, and he was an intelligence case officer, an operations officer, and a battle captain.
A true jack of all trades.
Battle captain? I
What
came.
is that?
What is your?
All right.
What are your?
Michael finally got off, so we
responsibilities as a
can
battle captain?
seriously focus on this podcast. I don't know what a battle captain is.
Yeah, literally,
It's so
what do you
fun.
What would
mean,
your
battle
responsibilities
captain?
be?
I don't know, but I'm like, that's cool.
That's a
It
question.
is
for
cool.
another
But, like,
day.
I wonder if he was like, I really just want this title. I know it has nothing to do with the job. Can I just have the title?
Well, he
and they're
came
like,
up
sure.
in like what, early 2000s. There was some stuff going on in the early
That's fair.
2000s. I won't get into it because this podcast is an escape from reality. So let's get back to our buddy Lou. He did a lot of other cool shit. I'm not going to get into it because then it would just turn into a literal Lou show. And as much as we would love that,
Period.
we don't have time.
If other things.
So we're going to fast forward. It's 2012. I'm graduating from high school. And Lou is a senior ranking person in the DoD's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which is a secret program housed in the Pentagon that studied unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UAP, which we are calling UFOs.
Okay, first of all, those were such big words.
That's why I tried to pronunciate.
You honestly
Enunciate.
killed that. That was a mouthful.
Okay, more mouthfuls to come. Again, last note before this becomes a Lou fangirl podcast. I wrote that note. I thought it was fun, so I read it.
Yeah, that's cute.
Anyways, so you know that New York Times article that I mentioned? Lou did that when he quit the Pentagon in protest of excessive bureaucracy and compartmentalization regarding UAP UFO issues. So let me break those big words
Yeah.
down.
Thank you
That
so
means
much.
that information between departments about UFOs or UAPs was not like free flowing. So if the Air Force saw something, maybe their officials would try and like hide it or not report it because again, you kind of do still come across a little bit crazy unless it's like recorded and something you can show.
Yeah.
So again, that was a more of a past view of it. They're becoming more like well known and more accepted, I think, within that community, but I digress here. So he quit the Pentagon again in protest. That's when he did that article in 2017, which I think is kind of interesting. Anyways, since then, Lou has been a king of UAP transparency, as we're going to see a little bit later on. So again, keep in mind his background as we hear his testimony. This isn't just like some guy off the street who like got into aliens.
He like knows what he's talking about.
He came up in the military, and they
Yeah.
put him in like military intelligence. I'm sure like aliens wasn't what he was going into the military thinking.
Sure.
Those are my thoughts.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's jump right on in. So Steven Diner, UAP podcast, he plays some of the audio from the hearing, and that's what I want to dive into, because it left me literally shook. That's when I texted you guys.
Wait, I want to listen. You should link it.
I'll link it. Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
that somewhere. I don't.
Because
Maybe
that'd be
I
cool
can,
to like hear his own testimony in his own
and
voice.
maybe he has like some socials, and I can like repost
Yeah.
too. Okay, shout out Steven. Anyways, let's jump right in. So, one of the committee representatives referencing David Gersh's testimony from our second congressional hearing that we spoke about earlier, where we talked about like the government program where we like go and get vessels. We have that retrieval program.
the vessel
And I
committee
also
thing.
teased a little bit in that, and I didn't tell you what the actual scary thing was that David Gersh revealed during
what?
that. So, during our third congressional hearing, again, this representative member dives in, and he says to our pal Lou,
Oh my
flipping
god.
the page, and I quote here, "It was previously testified that there were biologics collected. Are you aware of any of that?" To which our buddy Lou basically says, yes, the government does have biologics recovered. Okay. So just to be more clear, the representative clarifies his questioning, asking if we have possession of anything that would be described as bodies, as alien bodies. To which Lou says yes, meaning that the U.S. government has testified in a congressional hearing by a former DOD official that alien bodies are in their possession.
Dude, what?
That's crazy.
That
How is that not
is
more
crazy.
well-known?
That is crazy.
Because the fucking media doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
And why? Because who runs the media?
Girls who run the world.
Girls.
Who run the world.
Girls.
So
Not
Lou,
actually, though.
Lou goes on to say that the possession of these bodies were discussed, quote, quite a bit when I was at the Pentagon. So it's like lunchtime conversation.
Quite a bit.
Mm.
And these bodies were, probably collected several years before even Lou was born.
Wow, so they've had it.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, what? Like, can we sit in this? We have alien bodies. It's favorite discussion
Somewhere
at the
still.
Pentagon
Right now, while you're listening to
From
this,
before Lou was
there are alien
born.
bodies
that our government has.
in the government
And
somewhere.
it's been, like, testified by a former DOD official. That's wild to me. So, last thing, I'm going to keep going. Last thing our dude Lou mentioned that's of note is that these UAP or UFOs have been seen messing with our nukes. So they have an interest in our nukes.
Wait, they're not dead?
What? No. Okay. Yes. Let me backtrack. I went on to another thing. The alien bodies, biologics, as they're calling them, they are not with us anymore. He's talking about like greater UFO sightings.
Oh, okay.
They have been seen around like our nukes, and they're interested
Got it,
in
sorry.
our nukes. There we go. And to which, let's see here, is again kind of interesting if we think about last week's episode with the New Jersey drone sightings and Bethany Frankel saying
Mm-hmm.
they're searching for something, or are they interested in our nukes? Actually, did she say if they're interested in our nukes? I might be connecting two things. But either way, I would say it's an interesting fact.
Yeah,
and I
I
actually
agree.
did see, I skipped over something.
I mean, that can't be a coincidence. Like, that has to be
Yeah, no
intentional.
way.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. I skipped over something, so this is actually the last thing I'll say about Lou's testimony. The representative goes on to ask if there's been any communication with NHI, which is non-human intelligence, and Lou is vague, but basically says yes, like nonverbal
Oh,
communication.
so he's like, talk to them.
It's more nonverbal communication, like you know what their intent is, and it's like, you know what I mean?
So, like, yeah, like, there's no words spoken, but you're
You know
still
body
speaking.
language?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Body, yaddy, yaddy. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. So that's wild. And if that wasn't mind-bending enough, we turned to Tim, again, Gallaudet, I want to say his name is. He's another one of our witnesses who introduces another character to the party. So we've been talking a lot about UFOs, unidentified flying objects. Tim says that there are USOs, unidentified submerged objects, which,
bitch.
have been seen.
From the water?
They've actually been seen stalking our submarines in the water. They'll creep slowly behind until they'll, like, unexpectedly, like, take off like crazy.
Dude.
And again, Tim says nothing that we know of technology-wise could compare to this kind of movement.
Dude, that is
We don't know how it's
wild.
happening. And they replicate, like, a Russian missile or something like that.
Yeah,
Something
sure.
Russian was referenced. And again, I want to say this was back in our buddy Steve's podcast. But again, we'll link all of our sources here if you want to dive in. So in conclusion, again, like I said earlier, there are going to be more hearings. So obviously we're going to keep you posted on those because I think that's freaking interesting. The cops do too, if you can hear that in the
I know
background.
the really interesting moments. They're like, ooh,
Yeah,
there
let's
was
go.
a siren in there.
That means our timing's on.
Period.
Okay, so it's been rumored, and again, I believe it to be true, that we might hear confirmation of alien life from the White House this term.
You think?
And I wish we had somebody else to deliver the news, not to get political, but I think with everything that's been coming out, like, that's just where I see it going. And if I'm going to be honest, he's the kind of person to do it.
That's so fair. I agree.
Anyways, so we just got a lot of information that hopefully, again, I got your consent before we dove into.
Rocked our world there.
Yes, always get consent. Tell your
I have a
sons.
question about
Yes.
the USOs,
USOs,
Mm-hmm.
unidentified
submerged.
submerged objects.
Yes.
So, are they thinking that these USOs are coming from the ocean?
Well,
or
they're
like below, like God
Yeah, like, do they
knows.
live in the, like, mantle
Well, I
or,
was
like,
gonna
the
say, yeah.
center
Like,
of the Earth?
do they? I don't know if this is something obviously that was
No, it's
talked about
not.
in the congressional hearing or was
It's
mentioned at
not.
all. But I'm wondering,
Julia.
so these USOs, are they coming from our own oceans, or are they coming from space and then
just popping into the water
popping
for a
into the
bit?
water, or are they literally coming from?
Yeah, 100%. It's a good question.
Earth,
Okay,
or, like,
so here
in
is
the-
all I'm going to say about that is that I have, obviously, my own UFO alien theory that we're going to get into. We were going to do it next episode, but I think it'd be fun if we saved it to the end of the season and we can all do our own alien theories.
Fun.
But mine will go into that, and it's pretty in depth.
Okay.
So I have, again, I studied archaeology in school, so I get a little nerdy with it.
Love.
So you're going to have to follow me with it, but it's going to be fun.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
I'm
So
in.
again, we'll get
excited
it.
for that.
We'll leave you with that as the answer to your question.
Perfect.
Love. All right, Julia, bring us back down to earth, though. That was heavy.
Back to Earth. Okay. So, recently, we know that there have been some tensions rising between the United States and Canada. And we're not going to get too much into the political aspect of that tension and the relationship between Canada and the United States. We are going to talk about the recent sighting of a Canadian goose and an eagle fighting each other for 20 minutes, and the Canadian goose being able to successfully fend off the eagle, which some might say is a sign from the gods. Or the god.
I'm not going to lie. I got real nervous there for a moment when we got into Canada because the
I know,
tensions
same.
are high. But a moose and an eagle? Of course a moose is going to win.
Not
What?
a moose, a
Not
Canadian
moose,
goose.
A Canadian
A
goose.
A goose. Oh, that makes it way more interesting.
Of course the moose is going to win.
I was just like, that's so stupid. Why were people watching that?
So basically, yeah, if you look at it, like, it's
That's awesome.
something kind of stupid, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like, one, my question is, do you believe in signs from God or gods or whatever you may believe in?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that's interesting and that nature reflects, current
Ooh, I
events
love
or
that
history that's
question.
in
It's a
the
good
making?
question.
That's a good
And
question.
dare I say, I have a second follow-up question of if you could pick two animals,
To fight?
to fight each other.
That's hilarious.
I don't want them to fight.
Or
Can they like? Can we make?
They
them,
don't.
like, be
Neither of them have
friends?
to die.
Like odd animal friendships.
Yeah.
That's fun.
yes,
that's
you
cute.
can choose brawl or bond.
Oh,
Bond or brawl.
Bond or brawl.
okay, I love it. Michael, go ahead.
So I answer the first one?
Yeah.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first one was, do you believe in
Like,
God?
do you believe it? Well, no. I'm just saying, like, do you think, like,
Do you believe in God?
do you believe in signs from
Do you go to
maybe a
church?
higher power?
No, I can answer it though,
Or
because
even you don't even have to believe in a God for those who are agnostic out there. Just like a higher
like, I
being
am
or the
agnostic.
universe. Yeah.
I do believe in like, I don't really believe in like, I don't know, it's tough because like I believe more in like the universe doing things that are all in place. You know what I mean? So it's not like a coincidence. Like I'm a very big believer in like, oh, if it's gonna happen, it's meant to happen, and you just like accept that and move on, and that kind of
Yeah. So you believe in
life.
fate.
I do
Yeah.
believe in fate,
Yeah.
but then I also do really believe in like obviously I'm superstitious, and like I've always said that like
Obviously.
hope so. I've always said that I feel like I have a decent gut, like I have a good gut feeling about things, and I usually follow it, and it's like usually feels right for me
Yeah.
and whatever I need. So I feel
Love
like
that.
that also does give me a little bit of sense of like, where's that coming from? Like maybe it's just like
Your
Yeah.
intuition. Your
Yeah,
gut.
you're-
yeah.
What's pushing you? in
that's
that
where I
direction.
Something
can't,
guiding
something you
you.
can't explain. You
Yeah,
know what
it's
I
true.
mean?
And what animals?
And then
do
I
you
would
wanna
love-
be?
Do you
So
either want them to bond
capybaras.
or brawl? And what are they? What animals are you picking?
Capybara and an actual hamster.
A capybara, and I was actually gonna say a llama.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting pairing. But I
That's-
feel
I
like
can see that.
very similar values on the like,
Yeah.
energies, like just
Similar
kinda
energies.
Or also
interested
seeing,
in doing their thing.
you know what also was an interesting fight match? 2 giraffes.
Oh
Have
no,
you
that's
seen
swing
those
those
things
next
fight?
around.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
It is wild.
Honestly, I feel like capybara. Is it capybara?
Capybaras?
Capybaras. I always feel like I say it wrong. Capybaras and llamas
Yeah.
would almost be great at like parallel play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like,
so too.
they
They'd
would,
be in the
like-
same enclosure.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think capybaras can kind of do anything unless you like. They're just.
Put them in the presidency,
They
man.
can do anything. They can.
They're gonna save our
I
tariffs
did not
with
mean this
Canada.
to go into a capybara fest.
Next time I get on the bus, I'm gonna make sure that my bus driver is a human and not a capybara. Bara. The fuck.
You can do anything.
Your bus driver's a capybara.
Anyways.
Okay, Sid, what's yours though? Do
Okay.
you believe in God?
Yeah. What are your religious beliefs?
So let me go back to my first communion. No, I was raised Catholic. Like I taught Sunday school and stuff. But I would say I'm definitely agnostic. But I would say I still believe in what I think would be the Catholic equivalent, which I know would be the Catholic equivalent to like the Holy Spirit. So like I do believe that there's like an energy about that
Yeah.
maybe is your gut feeling, but there's something. And like I believe in that. And then I also kind of believe more so in like the universe as well, as it's like sometimes like you have to get on your timeline. You know, there's a right time for everything. Like sometimes when I'm having a shit morning and I'm like dawdling and I miss the light to cross to get to the train and I miss the train by 2 seconds, I'm like,
The
I'm on
worst,
the wrong
dude.
timeline today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. That's
So
a
that's
great
like
way to like think about it.
that's kind of the parallel that I believe in over here.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then, not to piggyback off your capybara,
Oh my God,
but
cappies.
I want a capybara and a hamster, no, and a guinea pig, and I want them to fight, and I want the guinea pig to win.
That's gonna have to be a real jacked up guinea pig.
Yeah.
I
But
think
I
it'd be
believe-
awesome.
You know
Or
what?
maybe he can be stealth mode and like go
Or-
to his eyes.
You know, they could all. Oh, geez, I don't like that visual. I was like, more
Oh,
of
you
like
asked
Tom-
for it.
Okay.
Well, we do know that capybaras can do anything.
I want them to be friends now. I don't
They
want
would
them to
never.
fight anymore.
Okay, they're gonna bond.
Capybaras just
They're
stand
gonna
there.
bond to not brawl.
They're gonna bond. I got sad when
Yeah.
you said the eyes. Anyways, before we go, okay, this week was a little heavy. Julia, thank you for bringing us back down to earth. Oh wait, do you want to answer the question? Did
Oh
you?
yeah, what was yours?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Check it out.
Perfect.
Let's see. I agree with you, Sid. I think I was raised Catholic, and there have been periods where I'm not sure if I, connect to my faith, my Catholic faith as much. However, I definitely believe in the Holy Spirit. I think that there is, a God out there that's looking after the people, I suppose. And I also believe that everything definitely happens for a reason. I like your kind of timeline description where, oh my gosh, I'm on the wrong timeline today. I definitely feel like there are days where I feel that. And I definitely am subscribed to the idea that everything happens for a reason. One door closes, another door is going to open, yada, yada, yada. And then I'm going to choose Brawl because you guys are choosing friendship, which is
pussies.
great. You're
not sad. You said
That's what I read it.
love.
Like, when you said it, that's what went through my head. And I was like,
You're
fucking get
pussies.
it, bitch.
But I would really love to see. So, fun fact, I love orcas.
Whales.
Whales.
Orca whales?
We love
Yeah.
whales.
Beautiful.
I'm a huge fan of whales, but
Cool.
specifically orcas. I think they're genuinely such an interesting species.
Yeah.
And
You
just-
love the ocean.
I love the ocean.
Yeah.
Huge
Fascinating.
ocean girl. But I would love to see orcas, who obviously are the apex predator in the ocean.
Yeah.
Great white sharks don't even fuck with them.
Yeah.
No. Well, they eat them for their livers.
Yeah.
Orcas are killer whales, right?
Orcas, yeah.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Well, wait, are
Same
those the
thing.
I mean,
same
orcas
thing?
are
They're like the ones that look like pandas.
orcas are hunting humans at this point.
Yeah.
Wait, they're the
Orcas are
same
just-
thing.
Yeah, they're the same
Orcas
thing.
and
Okay,
orcas are the
cool.
same, yeah.
Orcas are such dicks, too.
They are, and I love them for that.
Yeah.
And I would have an orca. I don't know, like, how this would come about. It would have to be in some sort of river, I would assume. But I would want an orca to fight a hippo.
I knew you were going to say hippo right after you said
that would
river.
actually be really
Because
That
fascinating.
is
hippos
interesting.
are the most dangerous animal.
And they're very
Yeah.
slept
In
on.
It
in
most
that
it killed
category.
somebody recently.
They have the, the most fatalities.
Did you hear that one?
No.
There's a recent story.
A recent story. There was like this was months ago. I don't know. TikTok screws me up. But a
Woof.
woman was on a safari and the driver didn't go fast enough, and the hippo like ate her, or like
Period.
grabbed her out of
grabbed
the,
her and
yeah,
killed
Wow.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't
Well-
eat her obviously, but
But
you know.
still.
They're so
Died.
aggressive and so territorial.
Mhm.
They kill the most people.
Yeah.
Forget lions.
Forget
Tigers.
lions.
Forget lions.
Any of the other like grassland predators.
Gazelles. Forget
Fuck
it.
them.
That's prey babes.
Honestly, again,
a harsh world.
uneducated.
But I would definitely have them fight because I think that would be so
That'd be
interesting.
really wild.
Yeah.
And I mean, hippos are huge, but orcas are so powerful.
Mhm.
But I don't know how that would end up. I genuinely don't know
Ugh.
who
This-
would win that.
Same.
Has me thinking of a good question, but for
I
the
think
sake
it
of
would
time,
be. Sorry.
I'm not gonna get out.
I think it's gonna be the whale
I think so.
because
too.
hippos can't really swim like they can.
Well, it
Yeah.
depends on like what's like how
Can't the orca
deep's
just
the water.
eat the
How
I
deep's
mean,
the water?
technically, but like
hippo?
a hippo's. Have you seen like a hippo like?
It's like 3 feet.
Open their mouths.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like their mouths are huge
And it was
And they do have a
so
lot of
powerful.
pressure.
Like a chunk out
If
of the whale.
yeah, I was gonna say if a
True.
hippo got its mouth around a whale, I think
Okay,
I think it would be over.
it'd
for
at
the
least
whale.
injure the whale.
That's
Like
fair. That's fair.
yeah.
I buy it. Okay, no, wrap us up.
Anyway, sorry. I had another question, but like again, for the sake of time, sorry to almost cut you off. But this week again, it got a little heavy. Thank you for bringing us down with that question. I love that. That was a fun way to end everything.
Of course.
Anyways, so next week we kind of brought everything up to speed where we are today. Next week we're gonna throw it back all the way back to Roswell, 1947, to the mysterious flying saucer.
Work.
Yes, get a little historical here. And for those who again stuck around for this long, I literally love you. Thank you.
Yeah, please,
Guys, this is so fun.
Happy to have
Yeah.
you here. Would
This was a good one.
Even
This was a
love
blast.
to have you
Fun.
stay.
Yeah.
Those are such fascinating.
And guys, I'm gonna
fascinating
be
stories.
a real podcaster here. So thanks for listening. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Wink. And then also you can follow us, I said it earlier, on TikTok, Instagram, and then we'll post the full thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, woo!
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
guys.
listening.
Bye.
See you next week.
See you next week.